All right, man. Oh, I can't find a good play. It's my fault. It's your boy Choco Pie here, man. I'm not trying to deliver. My e-bike got fixed, but it's a little bent still, so the guy told me to do it. Don't worry, we ain't gonna be staring at the phone. But I just wanted to say how wonderful I feel, man. Your boy, I don't care if you're a stranger that runs into this video or whatnot, but I was in hell for 2 years, man. And and before other people say, "Oh, well, I've been to rock bottom like 6, 7 times in my life, man." But of course, each person's rock bottom is their own. Some people could handle, their family getting murdered, and still keep living. And some people will never recover from stuff like that. Lord said He gives to each, I believe, what they can handle. Yeah, I summarize that verse. If I'm wrong on that, my apologies. Um, but I am so grateful for the year that I had before. I'm no longer depressed. I can eat again. I lost like 40 pounds, and not in a good way. You know? Now I'm just saying I was so depressed and sick from all the medications in me, but like I did a 7-day social media fast, and the church was doing a 3-day no eating fast too. But me and my wife, she even said she'd agree, and I wasn't trying to force her. And she ain't about that kind of stuff. But something shifted. Now, I'm not going to say I'm all the way fixed, man. God is still working on me, especially my temper and stuff. Like, there's some things that, like, sometimes I got to recognize what's coming in and push it off. It's like a little, when the enemy comes in, it's like a little bug, like, shoot fly. That's what I actually did. Because during the social media fast, it wasn't the medication or the drugs on my mind. No, what was on my mind is social media. Like, I'm literally, I don't know if anyone could relate, like, how my brain works, but while we were doing the social media fast, I kept having things popping up in my head, like, every other 5 minutes of things I've watched, and even years ago. Like, Puss in Boots. I watched that, like, 4 or 5, I don't know how, when it came out, but I watched that with my wife, where the wolf is in there, and he's, like, deaf. And I just remember, like, I was just like, I'm not seeing a vision or whatever. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I've had supernatural things happen to me. And sorry for all the audio quality, it was bad. But I just had this, like, like, in my mind. Like, well, how I had to close. I wasn't sleeping. I'm going to a forest. Like, boom, boom, very fast. Like a POV of me, like rushing through or something. And I see that wolf there from Puss in Boots that I watched years ago. And it's not just that. Every single, like weird thing that I've watched or entertained, like just start popping up. It's so weird how the brain works, man. And for you non-religious, or I don't even say religious, I just believe in Jesus, man. That's just what it is. But for people that don't know which God is which, or you're atheist or whatever, even science says, like, doom scrolling, which is what me and my, significant other was doing. Like, it's proven. My pastor said it at church, but then, everyone I asked said, yeah, I didn't know that scientifically, not even religiously, doom scrolling makes you depressed. I had no idea. I just thought, oh, well, you know what? Just like the drugs I used, but I can see it now. I couldn't understand it before. I was wondering why I'm so depressed all last year, and all the suffering I went to, your boy Choco Biden, is just trying to do right. But things just kept getting worse. But through that bad season, it's not that I didn't love my wife before, but I could confidently say, and this is something I talked to her mother, my mother-in-law, who I love, and I told her, I love your daughter more than my own mom now. And I know that seems normal to other people, possibly. But for her, hearing that from me shocked her more than any of the testimonies that I told her of God doing things. Cause she just couldn't understand how a son or a daughter could, love more, love their spouse more than their parents, you know? And me neither, to be honest. You know, I love my wife, but for years I prayed. Like, and I know when I first told her this, she took it the wrong way, but it wasn't, I just wanted to show her like the magnificence of God. But sometimes, there's whatever you call it, spirit, whatever, and miscommunication happens all the time. That's the big one for me, um, with other people. But I told her like, yeah, I love you more than my mom. And I prayed about this for over 10 years. I've been with my wife about 14, dating and then marriage afterwards after about 10 years. But I just, first you get the butterfly feelings, right? Of love. And I did all that and that was fun. That was nice. But then, I had no respect for her. I'm just being honest because of how I grew up, my household, like my culture and the mess up ways I grew up. She grew up in a very loving family. I grew up in a loving family, but that didn't know how, at least my pops didn't know how to show it because he grew up very bad. But I love my pops, But all that to say is, man, God is good. And for those of you guys that don't believe, that's fine. It's like, I don't only talk about Christian stuff. I used to be an ex-business owner. Like, I have other wisdoms and all I'm doing this for is just to help. Like I always say, if it's just one person that this helps you out with, then great, man. That's all it needs. And there's no real reason for me to do this other than I have a lot of compassion for people. Because I've been through a lot of suffering, but not as much as some people have. I've met people that went through way more suffering than me. But it's just, I was able to go through similar sufferings where I could have empathy and understanding for them. And I think that's a gift that God gave to me. So, but anyway, that's all I had on my mind. Choco Pie is out. We gonna get our bike fixed, homie. Deuces, have a blessed day.